Round of applause for being here. Give yourself a real round of applause. Seriously. This is very critical work. For those who were not here earlier, my name is Iminah Laura Ahmad. I'm here representing Alliance for Girls. If you are a member of Alliance for Girls, please wave your hands, make your presence known. So we're here. If you're not familiar with Alliance for Girls, you will be after this presentation. I definitely want to recognize Executive Director Emma Meyerson, who is here.
Emma.
Who has been really instrumental in pioneering this work, and also Alliance for Girls staff, Kaylin, is here as well.
Yeah.
So really quickly, before we get into this presentation, I want everyone to be very clear about who I am and what led me to this work. I am an Oakland native, born and raised in Oakland, started off in Oakland's African-centered schools, later moved to Oakland's public schools, so I've seen both sides of the spectrum. I come from a legacy of educators. My mom is a principal now at Piedmont Avenue Elementary School, but I was someone who was quote unquote privileged in Oakland, and so I actually let that deter me because I saw a lot of my classmates who were pushed out. I was one of the only students of color in Oakland Tech's Paideia program. And so I felt guilty, and I internalized a lot of the actions that my peers took. So this presentation and this work that we're doing is dedicated to a lot of my peers who didn't make it through middle school, who did not make it through high school, who maybe made it through high school and couldn't get any other levels of education, and who are now struggling to find jobs and being pushed out of Oakland and out of this world. So this work is very near and dear to me because I'm someone who, even though I was given a leg up, I still made choices that led to me going to hell and coming back again. So that's what led me to this work, is being one of those girls who was affected by society and who made decisions and took myself from the level of being a goddess to ghetto and had to take myself from ghetto to goddess. Can I get an ashe? Ashe. So this work here is representative of my experience and my journey and what led me into this work, but also to every girl who is not part of this conversation, who is on the streets, who's on East 14th right now, being exploited and prostituted and thinks that's the only way that they have to survive. To those girls who have given up on schools because school has given up on them. So it's very important that you commend yourselves for being here, and that we also are really motivated to carry this conversation into action. Ashe?
Ashe.
So this is about valuing girls' voices because girls matter. And when we're speaking of girls, especially today, we're focusing on Black girls and girls of color. Girls matter, and it's important for us to show that in our actions and in our policies so we can create a better future. So what's at stake? And we've gone into this information, but it's a message that we need to keep repeating until it changes. Nationally, girls are now the fastest growing population in the juvenile justice system. Oakland is one of the worst cities for sexual exploitation of minors in the country. The majority who are girls, the majority who are girls who look like me. This is a very drastic problem. It calls for a drastic solution. These same trends are reflected in our school system, and as we've been talking about the school to confinement pathways, school is a very crucial part, and girls' interactions with people in schools is a very crucial component of this. If we don't reverse these negative trends while girls are still in school, the rates of incarceration and exploitation for Oakland's girls will continue to increase. So equity is essential, and that's equity in every sense of the word. Equity in how we look at each other, how we deal with each other, how we make decisions that affect other people, how we teach lessons in the classroom, how we look at people when they're walking down the street. Equity is essential in every component of our lives, and it's crucial. Our girls' lives depend on this. So to tell you a little more about Alliance for Girls, I was led to Alliance for Girls through the work that I did and created my organization From Ghetto to Goddess. And I was very passionate and really, was on the path coming from Atlanta, where I went to college, and moving back to Oakland. I knew a change had to be made, but I realized that I could not do it by myself. I was trying and it was not working by myself. I realized that it took a community. And so Alliance for Girls has membership of 130 different organizations and independent practitioners operating in Oakland and the Bay Area who serve more than 250,000 girls and young women in the San Francisco Bay Area. The majority of our organizations serve girls of color. And our mission is to ensure that girls-serving organizations are more connected, more effective, and better able to prepare leaders of today and tomorrow. Very important. And we're operating currently in 6 Bay Area counties. And so some of the key pillars in terms of what makes this alliance work is that we focus on professional development. So organizations who are deeply involved in this work, deeply stressed, because a lot of us have issues finding funding, we have issues with different sites that we're at, we don't know what else is going on, so it's very important for us to have professional development collaboration. So even though we may not be doing the same type of work, we all work with girls, a lot of us work with girls of color. So it's important for us to find ways to come together in the face of whatever we're facing, and also doing research. And we're gonna get into some of the research that we did that is really informing our approach to creating a collaborative effort for girls of color in OUSD and advocacy based on the research. So some of our organizations we saw earlier, the Mentoring Center, very, very key organization. Give it up for the Mentoring Center. They're doing a great work. Great model that can be used nationally. Also, Dimensions Dance Theater is another one of our members. Give it up for Dimensions Dance Theater, of which I was a student. Very proud of Dimensions Dance Theater. And also Girls Inc. Give it up for Girls Inc. in the building as well. Working with girls and working with girls all over the country and internationally. And so to guide our work and what we're doing with our 130 plus members, we commissioned a study to gain a deeper understanding of the lived experiences of OUSD girls of color. And so this is a 20-page report that you'll have my contact information. You can come and talk to me to find out how you can actually get the full report, but we're gonna give you a little appetizer now. And unfortunately, a lot of the information in the report is very reflective of Dr. Monique Morris's work nationally. And so what's going on here in the ground in Oakland in 2016 is eerily parallel to a lot of the national trends that we're seeing with girls. And so it's very important that when we see the statistics and we see a lot of the negative circumstances that our girls are in, it's also important to understand why they're happening and give voice to those statistics. So this study was very imperative in giving us a look into what is actually making girls be pushed out of school. How is this translating into the decisions that are affecting their lives and their children's lives? So this study we conducted with Bright Research Group, and it surveyed 74 girls of color with 9 different focus groups across schools throughout the Oakland Unified School District. And the girls in the study included African American girls, Latino girls, Asian Pacific Islander girls, and also Native American girls. What's working well? We'll start off with the positive, okay? So these are quotes from girls. We need more places that are just for girls. In our girls group, we dance, watch movies, talk about problems in our family. We give each other advice, and we raise money for people that need it. Several girls experience their schools as safe places staffed by caring adults who are looking out for their well-being, and they reported feeling excited, supported, and ready to learn at school. Can I get an ashe if you're ready for all girls to say that? Girls express great appreciation for girl-specific programming where it is offered. Now those are the key words, where it is offered. Okay, so when we get into a lot of the more negative aspects of the report, I want you to keep this in mind as the goal that we're working to creating as a reality for our girls throughout OUSD. So what needs more work in the schools? One big component from the report was sexual harassment. And this is for girls overall who were interviewed, but especially when we go into racial classifications, it gets even deeper. And that's something we can talk about when we have a little more time. But girls reported that boys regularly call them bitches, sluts, or hoes in the presence of teachers and adults without consequence. At one school, girls reported that boys had branded Fridays as, quote, slap-ass Fridays. And they reported that teachers know about this tradition, but their responses focused on girls' reactions rather than addressing boys' behaviors. And this is something that I experienced myself as an OUSD student, and I saw a lot of my friends going through this, and it's very shameful to know that it's still going on, and it's just been accepted as the reality. It's not okay. Structural bias. Quote from one of the girls: "No one ever tells boys, be careful. You might become a teen dad one day. It's always left to the girls." Girls reported that teachers and principals put pressure on girls to regulate their behavior because boys cannot control themselves. Think about what that does psychologically for girls. How that pushes them out of school, pushes them out of society, and makes them feel like the actions that they're receiving, they're just supposed to receive because certain people can't handle themselves. Also, speaking to dress code, I have one hole in my jeans at the knee and got sent home. But the boys have their underwear showing and no one says anything. As a teacher, I saw this myself. What are we going to do as a community to change this? So girls felt, and they are, being punished more frequently for dress code infractions, and that these are more restrictions, and that there are also more restrictions about the way that girls can dress on free days. And when we get into the racial classifications, it gets even deeper. But looking at girls of color overall, this is what they're saying district-wide. Also, racism in the school. And this is a very, very, very important component, especially as the Oakland's African-American population is dwindling down. A lot of girls are being marginalized at an even deeper level, and they have less of a structure that's there to support them. So African-American girls are thought of as being loud, but that's because no one wants to hear us. We have to speak up to be heard. Quote from one of our girls in the schools right now. So African-American girls, and they're the only group that shared these type of experiences amongst all the groups who were interviewed in this study. African-American girls shared that they feel their teachers are afraid of them. This is what the girls say, okay? Their teachers are afraid of them. Also, many girls described interactions with adults in the schools that made them feel like they were destined to fail. I really could just drop the mic on that. I really could. Destined to fail. How? Why? The fact that girls are picking up on this and know this.
Right.
The fact that adults are showing this in their day-to-day actions is unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. Girls said that they do not hear strength-based or empowering messages about their futures. A lot of girls reference their teachers and people on campus saying, well, do you want to just go work at McDonald's or go to prison? School is supposed to be a place to learn, to better yourself. So the fact that this is the reality for our girls, no one should be okay with that. When I first read this report, this tormented me because I knew it was the reality, and I knew that it's currently still going on. So we have a lot of work to do. And again, I'm glad we're all here, because that means there is a solution in progress. So how can we make a difference? And these are ways that Alliance for Girls and our members, we're creating a coordinated community response to do what we can in every way we can to make a better reality for our girls now and in the future. So one, the ingredients for equity. So this is being led by a technical assistance team of Alliance for Girls experts and OUSD experts. Any of our technical assistance team members that are here, can you raise your hand? We have Becky Peterson-Fisher, who is an equal rights attorney, also Kelsey Sneed, the Mentoring Center, Emerge Academy, and some other really wonderful, amazing, and talented women who are helping us to think about how we can create this resource guide, and we are creating this resource guide, equity assessments at schools, staff trainings to be implemented in OUSD schools and also with governing bodies in the school district, and integrated into school communities overall. So this is one component that we are developing and implementing in OUSD schools that can help to change that reality. Also, creating a campaign for a city of equity. So we're working with Oakland Unified School District, also the City of Oakland, and Bay Area-wide organizations to do presentations about the findings in this study, just to give people information, because a lot of people are oblivious how many people actually take the time to talk to Black girls on a day-to-day basis. So very important with that. And then also, we're using our voice to inform a national movement. We're working with the National Girls Initiative, who's doing a lot of work nationally. Also, we attended the White House Summit in the United States of Women, and we're also working with the White House Council on Women and Girls with some developments to bring what's happening on the ground in Oakland to a national conversation. And as we're wrapping it up, what can you do to support our collective voice? You can join Alliance for Girls. You can see me, you can see Emma, you can see some of our members to find out how to do that. You can join a committee for this project. Our next at-large planning meeting, working on all these solutions, is actually next Wednesday, July 20th from 1 p.m. to 2:30. So you can see us for more information about that. And then you can also contact me. My email address is right here, Iminah@allianceforgirls.org. about how to bring the ingredients for equity to your school, your community, organization, or institution. Ashe? Ashe. Thank you. Give us a hand. Thank you.